Welcome back to the podcast. It's Annie Peguero. Thanks for joining me today. This is a little bit of a different topic. I don't usually talk about sexual exploitation, sexual harassment, those types of things here on my podcast, but it keeps happening over and over in my presence. And, today, after it happened again, in the last time that I witnessed something like this was just a couple short months ago. And I always speak up immediately. I know this is very unpopular. And, many people have said to me, hey, maybe you didn't need to go to management about that, or, this person's a really great person and, maybe they shouldn't have said that, but, whatever. Well, today when it happened again, and I said something in the moment, I knew that I needed to come on here and talk about this because it happens so frequently here in America, that some type of sex joke, some type of sexual comment, made with intention to make others either feeling uncomfortable, magnify a position of power, for your own sexual gratification, whatever. And so oftentimes people don't say anything. They'll just laugh it off, walk away, roll their eyes, etc. Maybe write a Google review or something like, not deal with the situation right away. And that's why I needed to come on here immediately today and talk about this. So that was a big, long intro. What we're talking about today is sexual exploitation, using sexual comments, sexual comments, sexual jokes, saying things that have not even an innuendo or undertone, but completely blatantly sexual in the workplace. And maybe you as a customer, as a consumer, witness it. What do you do? Okay. What do you do? When I ask this question on my social media, I get a variety of comments. When I talk about this in person, I get a variety of different comments, different things that people would do. And a lot of times, people will say to me, why would you do anything? It's not directed towards you. Why don't you just walk away? What are you going to do? Why would you draw attention to this or to whatever? And I believe, and I'm not alone in this, I can see people chiming in on my social media. When you do nothing, you are 100% part of the problem. I'm going to repeat that. When you do nothing and you witness blatant sexual exploitation, sexual harassment, unwanted sexual comments, and God forbid, unwanted sexual touching of some kind, and you say nothing, you are part of the problem. So what can you do, right? What can you do? You witness something, you hear something, and you're standing there and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like, do I flee? Do I say something? What do I do? Well, frequently what I choose to do is say something directly to the person. And the other times when I chose not to say something directly to the person, I go directly to management. And here's why. Here's why I do that. That person that has delivered the sexual comments where others have felt a way because of their sexual comments, about their sexual comments, that person does not get to explain themselves. They don't get the power to articulate why they did it. They don't get the power to articulate the reason behind their inappropriate sexual comments or behavior, whatever, especially if they are at a place of employment. Okay. They don't get to say, oh, you're taking it out of context or you're twisting it or whatever. They don't get to say that because that puts the power back on them. And I am not there to give them more power because they've already commanded that type of power, control, for their own gratification or their own, societal boost or approval. They've already attempted to command that when using those sexual comments. So I'm not going to give them an opportunity to take more power, and definitely not to take it away from me. So one of the things that I see over and over when I report something like this, some type of, sexual comment, sexual behavior, sexual harassment, sexual exploitation, some type of sexual comment in somebody's workplace, the thing that I hear most often is, sorry, I offended you. Oh, I didn't mean to offend you. Oh, I see you're offended. Oh, I see that what I said was not up to your expectations. And I want to be very clear. It is not about somebody being offended. It is not about somebody standing by being offended. It's not about me being offended. It's about this person's choice to use sex as leverage, right? For their own gratification, whether it's sexual gratification, again, a place of power, a place of, being viewed by somebody within their own structure, whether it's a store, a fitness center, like whatever it is, being viewed a certain way by the crowd. Okay. And what I just want to really emphasize, and my purpose for doing this episode today, is it's not about the person who is reporting. And that's what sometimes it becomes, right? It becomes like, oh, I didn't mean to offend you. I'm sorry. Well, it doesn't, I am not the one to apologize to. It's the overarching, I want to say crime, but it's, there's so many gray areas, whether or not it's an actual crime, gray areas in what I'm discussing today, but certainly grounds for termination, certainly grounds for, some type of punishment, or not punishment, but you know what I mean? Like some type of disciplinary action. There's the word I'm looking for. Disciplinary action by the employer. Okay. And the reason why this is so important is because I see people over and over again say to me in person, in email, in comments on the socials, I just wouldn't say anything, or you really shouldn't have said anything. This person who said this is a good person. This person that said that, like, they were just joking. And I'm going to tell you what, I have no space for that at all. As a former female federal law enforcement officer working in a workplace with men, like maybe there was like one or two other females, you can't talk like that. You just can't. And from my own preparation and testifying, so many cases, so many sex crimes against children, attempted rape cases. I mean, just so many cases that I've worked over my 10 years of career in law enforcement, and to see what this does to a person, to see the trauma that it brings on to the victim. And here the victim is just there, having a conversation, maybe taking a class, maybe shopping, maybe having a conversation with a boss like I witnessed today. And that boss has to throw in sexual comments to make everybody feel uncomfortable, give themselves a position of power. And, frequently people who are hearing will not say anything. So this is my message to you today. Speak up. Speak up, women of America. Speak the F up. Because when you do not speak up, you are part of the problem. You are part of the problem when you don't speak up. You don't need to confront the person who is delivering the sexual comments, because a lot of times that's not safe. You don't need to confront the person, but you can go and find the management immediately. And like I said before, another reason why I wouldn't go right to the person is because it gives them an opportunity to explain themselves. And you don't need to be on the receiving end of that. So on this Friday, October 7th, I really want to send this message very clear that when you see something, when you hear something that just is not right, does not look right, does not feel right, and you see that somebody else is exploited sexually, harassed, any of those things, it's not your job to be the judge. It's not your job to, make sure that you're understanding correctly. You were there, you witnessed it, you should report it. And I just want to really emphasize that today and also give you a place to discuss things like this. I posted about it on my Facebook. You can always email me at anniepeguero.com. You could reach out to me on all the socials. I'm happy to have a discussion with you, a positive discussion. I know that sometimes these things can be heated when, people, really feel very strongly either way, and that's okay. Listen, I'm all about a good discussion about things like this, not trying to persuade anyone to feel a certain way about anything, but to understand why people have the beliefs that they do so that, we can all come together and talk about these things so this doesn't have to happen to anyone. So nobody else has to awkwardly laugh and walk away. Okay, nobody else has to awkwardly laugh and walk away. It's just wrong, flat out, 100% wrong. And I'm not here to say whether it's against the law or whatever, but I am here to say that it's messed up and so very wrong. And I will speak up about this every single time. I mean, literally every single time I will speak up about something like this. And it's fine if you don't agree with me. But that's what I'm going to continue to do forever and ever. So thank you so much for listening to this episode today. I trust that it was valuable for you. Please share it with your friends. And always, I welcome reviews on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much for doing that. And you can learn more. Thanks for listening today. And as always, go on over to my website, anniepeguero.com, to learn more about my coaching programs. through hypnosis, overcoming self-sabotage, and finding yourself in your 40s. Thanks so much, and I'll talk with you next time.